For sale. Human head. Condition. Used. Best ad I've seen on Craigslist all day. I'd spent the last hour surfing the site for a passive-aggressive gift for my ex-girlfriend's wedding. Was this a possible candidate for Gag Gift of the Year? Well, I certainly thought so. I didn't think it was real for a second when I texted the user. I just told him what I wanted it for and asked if he had any left. It didn't even have to look real, just enough for a little jump scare and a good laugh. Here's the reply I got a few minutes later. Plenty left? Do you care whose? Well, forget the fact that he's shipping heads. There's nothing that labels someone crazy like typing in all caps. But hey, let's be fair here. Considering I was asking about buying one, maybe I didn't have a right to condemn his eccentricities. I replied and told him I didn't care. Just as long as it wasn't someone I know. I mean, come on. He's gotta have a sense of humor, right? Who do you know? I'll check. I asked for a picture and told him I would let him know if I recognized them. I didn't hear back after that. Figured the joke had run its course. Just as well, really. Maybe it was petty to try and sabotage the happiest day of her life. Then again, she did sabotage my entire life when she decided to wait until I'd finished paying off her college loans to tell me she was seeing someone else. It wasn't until that evening when I got the next reply. She will love this one. Nice and fat. He doesn't need it anymore. Ugh! I almost choked on the pizza I was eating. Fat was a generous description of the picture he'd sent. Bloated would have been more accurate. Like it had been sitting out in the sun for a long time. Congealed blood still clung to the base where several inches of spinal cord extended past the tattered flesh of the neck. The nose was gone, replaced with an explosion of sticky cartilage from where a massive force like a shovel had pummeled it in. I've had a few hours to contemplate my life choices, and now that I was staring at the picture while trying to eat, I knew this was a bad idea. Sorry, not interested, I replied, before blocking the number. The next morning, I woke up to 3 more pictures sent from a different phone. Each bore a macabre description. This little lady was a fighter, so she's a little more knocked around. My only old man. Those blotches on the skin were there before. If you want mint condition, check out this lady. Poisoned, not a mark on her. You know, there are some things you just have to ask even if you don't want to know the answer. Stuff like, do you love him? And how long will Dad be gone for this time? Where are you getting all these heads from is another one of those questions. I typed it in, simultaneously eager and afraid for the reply. I only needed the bodies? I seriously considered reporting this creep to the police, but again, I still figured it was just a bad joke that I didn't want to waste more time on. I told him not to contact me again and blocked this number too. A week later, I arrived at the wedding empty-handed, without a date. My ex gave me a tight smile and that half-hearted hug, which is usually reserved for people with a severe skin condition. She said it was nice of me to be here and thanked me for the present. Present? What present? She told me someone dropped one off with my name on it. I found it sitting on the table in the reception room. A little brown box, about the size of a bowling ball, with a flare of red string tied up in a dainty bow. A note was slipped underneath which read, "You seem to have trouble deciding. Here's a free demo to try out. If you aren't 100% satisfied, you can exchange it when you're done." So many questions came to mind, like how he found me, or what exactly one does to try out a head. When I lifted the box up to grab the note, I couldn't help but notice the dark, sticky stain soaking through the bottom and onto the table. Couldn't exactly leave it there. Shoot, what was I thinking? It had my name on it and everything. Oh. Most of the people were still arriving and talking outside, so I just grabbed it and made for the door. There was a return address after the demo period had expired, so at least I could get rid of it. I scuttled across the dance room, trying my best to wipe up any errant drips which were soaking through the bottom. I almost made it to the door before I spotted my ex. Quick, turn around! Racing for the back door instead. More people were flooding in now, including her family and many of her friends who knew me. Ooh, none of them could have guessed what I was carrying, though, so long as I could make it to the door. Or at least I could have, if the back door wasn't wired to the fire alarm. The blaring sound shocked me so much I dropped the box. It started to open and I caught a glimpse of the bloody pulp inside. Oh, it half flopped out of the box as it tumbled and I had to scramble to keep it closed. From the shards of splintered bone to the puddle of dried blood around the base, I had no doubt that it was real. By the time I looked up, the whole room was staring at me. There was only one thing louder than the alarm after that. My ex's mother screaming, "He's trying to steal the present!" My panic-stricken brain didn't want people to think I was a thief, so I just dropped the box. If I had been able to think even a little more clearly, I would have realized it was much worse for them to think I was a murderer, but I couldn't deal with that accusing siren or all those disapproving eyes. I dropped it and ran, swearing to myself that it wouldn't matter as long as I never saw any of those people again for the rest of my life. I did get some messages, though. The next day, my ex told me that my present was a big hit. Everyone loved the gag. They thought the head was a symbolic gesture, which meant her past romances were dead. I was so sweet for giving my blessing like that. I guess no one looked close enough to decide whether or not it was real. It's the other messages that bother me more, though. All caps. Sent to remind me that your free trial is up. You can pay $10,000 to keep the head or send one back if you're finished. Now where the heck am I gonna get another head?
enjoy our tale? We hope we didn't scare you too much. And if we didn't, why not give this creepypasta story a try? Who knows? Maybe it'll help you find something deep down inside.